Welcome to the Board Wrap-Up Show. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and this is our monthly visit with the Superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools, Shelley Arrett. And today, Shelley Arrett is not with us. You know, before Shelley Arrett became the Superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools, she was the Director of Human Resources for Ponca City Public Schools. And now that job goes to Curtis Layton, who is our very special guest on this edition of the Board Wrap-Up Show. And Curtis Layton, thank you for being here.
You bet. You bet. Glad to be here.
Well, the Board Wrap-Up Show, what this is for you watching this, it's a wrap-up of the Ponca City Board of Education school board meeting for the month. And for the month of September, that's what we're talking about now. And Mr. Layton, a student presentation, Union Elementary Circle of Friends was that presentation. And the meeting always starts out with something like this, kind of to get us into the meeting, get to the other stuff, but get something fun right up front. Tell us about it.
Right. Well, the board loves to see what the students are doing, and we love to share that. And it's great for the students to get out there and do some public speaking. And the Union Circle of Friends is a very unique program started by Mrs. Wyckoff and Ms. Swanson. What they do is they pair a student with special needs with one of their typically developing peers. And this allows them to learn from each other. The students with special needs can see some of the social skills modeled by this student, and the regular ed students are learning about students with disability.
Yeah.
The overall goal of the program is that they become friends. I mean, they're going to go to school all the way through senior high with them together, and they become friends, and they become buddies all the way through school.
Yeah.
And so they'll meet in the morning, and the students, they'll walk to class together, and so it's a great program for both kids.
Yeah, what an incredible program. That's fantastic. Now, there are certain policy reviews and updates that before the board can consider them in the next meeting, which will be the October meeting, they have to make sure that there's full disclosure with the public, and everyone has an opportunity to see what is going to be considered. That was on the agenda at the meeting this month. Tell us about that.
You bet. Well, we had 28 policies that were up for review, and like you said, they review them in September. That's kind of our policy month, and open for public comment, and then then voted on in October by the board.
Now, is this an opportunity for people to give their opinion, and perhaps that might shape how these policies are put together?
You bet. And we have a legal representation. Rosenstein, Fish, and Reingold are policy writers, and they do it for schools across the state. And so they'll put policy revisions and suggestions. Some of them we don't have a choice; they're state law. Yeah. Some of them are suggestions to keep up with OCR guidelines, things like that. So they're all online at pcps.us. Under the Board of Education tab, you can see the revisions at the bottom of the page if somebody wants to review the full policy. But we've got short little summaries of each of them to cover.
Yeah, very good. Well,
right.
If you're interested, you can go to pcps.us and check that out. Now, attendance. We've talked about this before. I had a special guest on my radio program talking about that for Wildcat Chat. And attendance, it is something that is extremely important. It makes a difference. And I was surprised to find out that a lot of the attendance issues are in the younger grades.
You bet.
And that's the very time that these kids are developing the foundation for their academic career moving forward. So it's really the most critical time for them to be in school, is always, but especially those younger grades. And that's why Attendance Awareness Month is so important for Ponca City Public Schools. Tell us about what the district is doing in their efforts in this initiative.
Well, like you said, we focus on it in September because we found our research has shown that the number of days that a student misses in September is very predictive of how many days they'll miss throughout the year. And so we think getting to a good start in September and understanding the importance of school and being at school is the way to start the year. If you've driven down 5th Street, we have banners on 5th Street Sonic.
Yes.
And at RCB Bank on 14th Street. We've done some social media advertising through our Facebook page and through our press releases. Miss Vogel was on the Wildcat Chat last week and spoke about the importance of Attendance Week. We're starting to have our curriculum nights, or our back to school nights for our parents, and our parents will come up and that will be addressed, and we'll be stressing the importance of attending school. Right. Also focusing with the students. There's signs everywhere. The teachers and administrators are really stressing the importance of that in students, because by the time they reach 6th grade, that becomes the top indicator of whether they're going to graduate, is how much school they've missed. And so you were very right, in those early years, it's so important that they be in school. Missing, too much school in that 3rd grade year, when you got the RSA laws come into effect, that is a determining factor on whether the student will be reading proficiently at 3rd grade. So I cannot stress enough the importance of attending school and being there regularly.
Yeah, the ripple effect.
Absolutely.
Certainly could create struggle with those students. Attendance matters, and you'll see those banners around, and it's a big effort this month with Ponca City Public Schools just to raise that awareness for attendance. It's so critically important. Now, estimate of needs for fiscal year 19. One thing that Ponca City Public Schools really good at doing, and have been for years, is really projecting and preparing and really getting and boy, that's not easy when budget concerns are always a concern. So how do you prepare an estimate of needs? Right. So what was that topic like at the board meeting?
The estimate of needs is something that's prepared by auditors every year, and it's something that that estimate of needs determines the millage, and it's based on our valuation and how much our real property is valued at. And so then that determines the amount of millage that is assessed, and then that money goes into our sinking fund to pay off our bonds. And so if your valuation is higher, then your millage will be lower. And so our millage went up a very small bit. It's at 22.54, and that's because our valuation wasn't as high as it was predicted to be. We did have an increase of almost $3 million in our valuation, but it didn't go up as high. So it was a slight increase, but we keep our millage about the same here in the district.
Okay, all right. Contract agreements over 10,000. Now, these are some big contracts.
Yes.
And tell us, how did that go?
It went well. We have one of our biggest contracts with ServPro. They had to do some restoration and cleaning in Hal Auditorium prior to the students being able to use it this year. Kids Shine LLC is a program that Ms. Vogel is going to use with the elementary. It's called Mad Scientist, and it's using STEM and Discovery Day programs for elementary sites. So she'll be using that technology, or that program, with our elementary students. We had an agreement with Train Automation, and what that is basically allows us to control our air conditioning systems. The systems we had in place were outdated, and we were unable to communicate with our air conditioning systems. Help save energy in the district. We don't want the air conditioners running,
when they don't need to be running.
That's correct.
Right.
You bet. So those were the main
right.
big contracts. You bet.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, 10 o'clock at night, you don't necessarily need to keep the school classrooms comfortable till morning time. That's certainly important. Now, a lot of construction projects, and as you know, as you drive around the district, you see a lot of these, and a lot of these have been completed. Some are still in the process of being completed, and every now and then there are going to be change orders. What kind of change orders are we talking about?
We've had a couple change orders this year. The first one was at Roosevelt Elementary parking lot. Parking lot was built there this summer, and they added a curb to that, to where it would protect cars from driving over that embankment there, and kind of add some ADA requirements to that parking lot as well.
Yeah.
Also, our old football locker room, as you know, we are in the process of renovating that, have renovated that.
Yeah.
And in that process, they're discovered some problems with some of the gas lines that had to be fixed.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you couldn't just patch it up. So
right.
A necessary change order for that.
Right. Very good. Well, that happens, certainly. Any updates or any word on the Performing Arts Center?
Yes, it is coming along. Obviously, not where as on schedule as we want it to be.
Right.
We are really hoping to be in there by the Christmas season.
Nice.
For the Christmas, we're
Nice.
certainly no promises from my end, but
Well,
that there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a magnificent facility. And we want it done right, and so
Yeah.
we don't want there to be shortcuts taken. So we're a little patient with it right now. And
However long they need.
that's exactly right. It's going to be a great facility.
Talking with Shelley Arrett about that last month, I believe we touched on that and how this is a very technical facility. I mean, as far as the construction, and this is going to be a world-class facility, and the specs are not necessarily. It's not just put up the building, let's go.
Exactly.
There's a lot of fine tuning that is done with the acoustics in the building, and it takes time. But we'll certainly look forward to it and can't wait for that to open.
It's going to be exciting.
It really is. It's going to be a wonderful thing. Big football game coming up, 7 o'clock kickoff, Solon Stadium on Friday night. Collinsville coming to town. We encourage everybody to get out there and to fill the stands and back the Cats. And before the football game, you have an opportunity to support the Takedown Club. They're doing their loaded baked potato dinner in the high school commons. And you get a big loaded baked potato with all kinds of toppings. You get a dessert, you get your drink. $10 for a ticket. You can get those from any wrestling parent, all right? And you can just walk in. Walk-ins and takeout orders are welcome. 4:30 to 6:30 in the high school commons before the Collinsville football game. And with all of the improvements, Curtis, to the facilities and the new football, it's just the press box. I know we had the press box last year. It just all looks so great. And there's a lot of excitement around not just the football program, but Wildcat sports across the board. And if you could talk a little bit about that enthusiasm that we find when we get to Solon Stadium.
You bet. The Wildcat spirit is definitely on the rise, and it's been a great team effort from our athletic department, from our administration, the high school, and it just, you can feel the difference in the air when you're there. And so, we are starting back up our spirit nights, and that's nights where a specific elementary can come in and get in free. They have a special ticket for free admission.
Nice.
And Friday night is Roosevelt. So Roosevelt students will get a special ticket, and they're able to come and cheer on the Wildcats.
Nice.
And they're able to bring one adult with them, so they're able to come with their parents. So they'll get a special ticket for them and their parent to come to the football game Friday night. And it was pretty packed last home game, I can imagine it's going to be a great crowd.
Oh, I love that program.
You bet.
I love that program.
It is awesome. We would also, all of our pre-K through 5th grade students, if they will dress in red or navy or any kind of Wildcat shirt, we invite them to run through the Wildcat head after the football team. We had a good number the first game. The first game, and they'll bring them down on the field at 6:45. Miss Arrett will be there. She's in charge of that, and as soon as the football team runs out of the Wildcat head, the elementary will follow right behind them. So
that's great.
It was pretty fun to see last time.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so, like I said, it's a fun atmosphere to be in, and not just the new facilities, but the just kind of the attitude and the spirit. You can really feel it, and it was a great atmosphere last Friday.
Yeah, we want you to get into the stadium on Friday and back the Wildcats as Collinsville comes to town. Well, I do want to remind you that Wildcat football, you can hear that. Take your radio with you to the game. You can hear the wonderful play-by-play call with Jordan Woodruff, the voice of the Wildcats, on 100.7 FM KPNC, and also live video streaming at pohighsports.com, which can really come in handy, especially on away games. Of course, we always encourage everyone to travel if you can to those games. If you can't, you can pull up the video stream at pohighsports.com paired with the broadcast audio, and it's like watching it on TV. All right? Pohigh Wildcats. And, of course, the softball team with their senior night coming up on Tuesday. That's going to be exciting. And, of course, the cross country with a big meet in Choctaw coming up Friday, and the volleyball team's in action on Thursday. So a lot of activity here in Ponca City, Ponca City Public Schools, and this is going to do it for the board wrap-up show for the Ponca City Public Schools September board meeting. And we'll be back next month, and Superintendent Shelley Arrett will be with us, certainly wishing her well as she had some business to take care of today. And we certainly appreciate special guest, the Director of Human Resources with Ponca City Public Schools. Curtis Layton, for being on the show. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for the Board Wrap-Up Show. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, for Ponca City Public Schools. Thank you for watching. Until next time.